Hello and welcome to Making Creativity Pay, the podcast where we talk to people in creative industries about how they promote and market their work. I'm Dan Barnett, and this episode I spoke with comedian Sarah Roberts talking about taking her show Scary Movie 7 to the Edinburgh Fringe. We talk about the work behind creating such a fantastic poster, why she absolutely will not be flyering herself, and why she's looking forward to having a show on at Monkey Barrel. I started by asking Sarah to give a brief introduction about herself.
My name's Sarah Roberts, and I'm doing a show at Monkey Barrel 2 every day of the Fringe called Scary Movie 7. And it's a show kind of based in my fear of being alone and trying to force the audience to make me not be alone. So there's a lot of like spooky stuff in it. There's like some deals with the devil. There's a puppet. It's gonna be creepy and hopefully funny. Yeah.
Because yes, you said about creepy. I've seen the poster. That looks fantastic. I mean, how was the process of kind of putting that together and shooting it and designing it and everything else?
It was fun. I mean, we wanted to go for like a sort of final girl sort of thing. Like, I'm obsessed with Pearl. And I don't know if you've seen that film. I really love Mia Goth, and I think there's like a desperation to that character that's kind of present in the show. This kind of like desperate energy, and yeah. So I covered myself in blood. I got a dress on Vinted for like £2 that then we also like completely destroyed. And yeah, it was actually really fun. Although I've like got really sensitive skin, and obviously I immediately got a rash from covering myself in like blood from Halloween that I bought like 3 years before, which was, I didn't know that could go off, but it definitely can, and it was.
You said about being on every day. You're actually starting on the 3rd, which the festival itself I think is officially the 5th. I know some people are going to, so you're really going for it.
Yeah, well, Monkey Barrel always starts early. I think even the 5th and the 6th are technically preview dates. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really happy about it because I want more time to, like, run the show before. My personal feeling about shows is that they're always best when the material still feels kind of raw and fresh. And then that's sort of a hard line to like figure out if you're on the right side of it, because obviously you want your material to be like really solid and tested, but I also think that like it has to still feel really emotionally true to you when you're doing it. So I think for me, like, running it as many times as close to the start of Fringe as possible is a good thing. So I'm very happy to be starting early. Although I say that, and then probably like by the 17th, which is my day off, I'm going to feel absolutely terrible and wish I'd had those 2 extra days to relax.
And you're on at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that's kind of a nice time, that it's late enough to fit the vibe of the show, but not so late that everyone's trolleyed and it's going to be a bit of a mess?
Yeah, I sort of think that like 9:30 to 10 p.m. is a really good show start time at the Fringe. Yeah, I've done like my debut, I think, was 10:45 p.m, which did feel a little bit too late for me. For some reason, like 10 p.m, it makes no logical sense because it's literally 45 minutes different, but to me 10 p.m. feels like the right side of late. Whereas, so I guess like when people go and see things really late night, they want something like really specific and chaotic and often like interactive. And I guess there is an element of my show that is that, but I think also there's an element that like does require people to listen. Like I would like for my audience to be on their like 3rd glass of wine, not their like 4th or 5th, you know?
Yeah. It's a slippery slope after that,
Yeah.
And in terms of promoting the show, do you know how many kind of flyers you're going to get? And do you kind of break it down into, I'm going to be there this many days, I'm going to flyer 300 people a day, or is it not quite as scientific as that?
So I really struggle to flyer. it's like not in my skill set at all. When I was younger, I worked as like a charity street, like the people who like try and get you to sign up for charity in the street. I used to do that, and I like got fired after one day, and I'm still traumatized by that experience, and flyering feels the same to me as that. So like I'm paying people who are good at flyering to do that. But yeah, we'll have like a lot of flyers sort of like the hour or so before my show. I also think with the late show, like flyering is different, because suddenly if you're flying at 3 p.m. then it's more like, I just think if you're flying at 9 p.m. it's a lot of drunk people, which, and then you're sort of, I think when you're then going on stage later, you're like trying to work out in your interaction with this person if they're going like how, I think when you're flying drunk people for your own show, basically it adds a layer of familiarity to them that they can't sometimes decipher as like being professional. Whereas I think if you have a late show and you have flyers doing that for you, then it's just a little bit easier to like maintain the correct like relationship, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And so yes, you said you're on at the Monkey Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was that important to you? I mean, the lineup is crazy there. I've said to people before, if you just went to Monkey Barrel for the Fringe, you'd have a fantastic time.
Yeah, I think I really have always wanted to be at Monkey Barrel. That's always been like my dream venue, so I'm like extremely happy about it. Yeah, I mean, I think they really try and make it like as nice as possible for artists during the Fringe and as affordable as possible. And I think that's also why it like draws such a crowd. And I did work in a crowd of good stand-ups. Like I did Whips there last year, and also like all of the tech and like everyone working there was just so nice. And I felt really like welcomed. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about it. And I also think all of the acts in my room are so good. Like I could sit in MB2 and be like, I could just spend the whole day there, which I probably will. But yeah, it's like there's like Eric Rushton and Roger O'Sullivan and Kate Dolan and Sam Ely, and I'm like in very good company, so I'm excited.
I mean, one thing I talk to people who do the Monkey Barrel is the ticket prices are generally pretty reasonable, but then there's a bucket speech. I mean, do you have that locked down, or is that a bit more freeform?
Well, the ending of my show is quite mad, so I do need to figure out how that's then going to sit beside a bucket speech, and I do think that's something that I'm going to need those extra 2 days at the beginning for. Yeah, but I think a good bucket speech can really change everything. Yeah. So no, the answer is I don't have that nailed down yet.
Yeah. And in terms of promoting the show, we talk about flyering. How important do you think social media is in kind of getting the buzz out and hopefully selling some tickets?
I do think it is really important. I feel like I always think that social media is going to like drop off, or people are going to get sick of it, but actually that's my own wishful thinking, because I'm addicted and I need everyone to leave it in order for me to leave it. So yeah, I think that it just grows every year how important social media is. I think the Fringe is like a strange beast though, because I wouldn't say social media is as important as like word of mouth. Really, I think social media is really good for like selling preview tickets and stuff, but I feel like a lot of Fringe audiences come from beyond social media.
So you're saying you've done a number of previous shows before. I mean, what are the key kind of things you think you've learned from that experience that you're going to take into this year?
God, I think in terms of doing work in progresses at the Fringe.
Yeah, in terms of, what kind of things in terms of, you know, working in different size rooms, different times
Yeah,
of day, just being there and kind of trying to build a bit of word of mouth, what kind
yeah.
of things kind of worked well and not work so well.
I mean, honestly, I think that the best thing that I try and do, and I think why sometimes I really like doing work in progresses, is because I think when you're working on new material, you're so present in the room because everything is also new to you. And I think that sometimes with the fringe, I'm the sort of person who can like very much get sort of caught up in like the like promotion and overthinking all of that stuff. And so honestly this year I'm trying as like I've got a really amazing team, like I'm working with like a really great PR and really good producer, and I feel like the main thing I'm trying to do is to like bring that energy of like being really excited every day on stage into each show, and like just trying to basically only think about how it feels with that audience in the hour of the day. I am hoping that everything else will sort of take care of itself, but I think that's probably wishful thinking. Yeah, I think like there are a lot of things that you can or I could do, like a trailer and things like that. I think are really great like promotional tools. Yeah, but mainly I think you just have to focus on the show.
Yeah. I mean, do you have much behind the scenes stuff of the photo shoot for the poster and things like that?
You know what? I wish that we had more of that. We've got a lot of really nice photos that Leisha took, but we didn't film anything because we were so rushed. We were so rushed because I came to the photo shoot with about 100 different concepts that I thought we could get done within 3 hours, and all of them required like a costume change and different makeup. Yeah.
As a festival goer rather than a performer, what's the kind of thing that makes you think, oh yeah, I'll give that show a try? Because there's so much choice, and there's
Yeah.
completely stuff that's outside maybe the kind of things you normally go and see. I mean, what kind of
Yeah.
draws you into something new?
I think because I perform stand up like pretty much every night of the week. I see a lot of amazing stand ups, and there are some of those shows that I will go and see, but I also really like at Fringe mixing it up and going to see like more clown stuff, more plays. I mean that also does extend to like I'll see people do sets a lot, like shorter sets, and then I'll like definitely want to go and see their full hour. But I also really love going to see like the most insane things. I didn't until I started going to the Fringe, I didn't even really like know what clowning was. And now I'm really into it. I love going to see clown shows. I also do think, unfortunately, that like a good poster will draw me in. Like if I think someone's got a really good image, then I want to go and see it.
That makes sense. And in terms of selling tickets and things like that, are you calm enough that you just think I'll do the show and who turns up, or are you kind of refreshing the ticket sales every 5 minutes?
I don't know my ticket sales. I my producer Leisha knows my ticket sales. I have not. I'm in the dark. I've been told that they're like absolutely on track, which might be could be her telling me that because she knows I'm a massive overthinker. But I think for my debut I had my room was I think it was an 85 seater. So that was stressful because that's like double the size of a lot of debut rooms. Whereas this year it's like 65. So to me, I think in comparison, I feel like quite relaxed. Which might obviously you want to like sell out every show. I think at the start that can be like a little bit harder. But I think that if I just make sure that all of the shows are really fun, that feels like the only thing I can really control, maybe. Like, even if it is 6 people on the first night, great. Well, not great, but fine.
So the other area, I mean, we've talked about kind of flyering and social media, and I guess the other main thing is reviews.
Yes.
And so kind of how have you found in the past that has influenced, kind of getting people in, getting the buzz and all the rest of it?
I think reviews are probably like the most important thing with getting people in, which is really annoying to say, but I kind of do. I mean, my favourite, I will go and see a show. I'm most likely to go and see a show if they have a 1-star, a 2-star, a 3-star, a 4-star and a 5-star, because I'm like, well, then that must be like an interesting show. But I think, like, there are things, especially because I like to go and see things of people that maybe I haven't seen before. Like, in years when I've only done like the second half of the Fringe, I will look at reviews and then base off of that. But usually, like, what's said about the subject matter, or like what the subject matter is beyond like what star rating they've got. Like, I think I'm more interested in that, but I do think that they swing things quite a lot, the reviews, and they make me really nervous. I do get really nervous. I think they can just be so.
Do you tend to know if a reviewer's in, or?
Well, often they sit on the front row, writing with their notepad out. So even if you don't, okay. Like, I'll say that I don't want to know if a reviewer's in, and then inevitably I'll see them while I'm on stage, and that can actually be worse. But I think there's an unpredictability to them sometimes, because I've got reviews of the same night of a show where I've had 2 reviewers in, and one reviewer said, like, the crowd work was amazing, and then the other 5 stars, and then the other has said this show was ruined by Sarah's terrible crowd work, 3 stars. And I'm like, what? Like, so I think you just have, like, they are just one person's opinion. They're just behind a publication, so it feels like a bigger deal. But I think personally, I would love someone to tell me how reviews don't throw them off, but for me right now they still do.
Thanks so much for doing this. Just to kind of finish up, I don't know if you wanted to do like a quick 30 seconds to say who you are, what the show is, when it's on, that kind of stuff.
So my show is on at 10 p.m. at MB2 at Monkey Barrel, and listen, I'm asking you to bring your soul, because I need it for something in the show, and that's all I'm going to say.
Thanks to Sarah for coming onto the podcast. You find more details in the show notes about where to find Sarah, both online and at the Fringe. If you enjoyed this, check out our other episodes of a variety of comedians, musicians, authors and others in creative industries talking about trying to make creativity pay. Thanks for listening.